From being famous enough to hang around elite football players and A-list superstars, to getting arrested and almost spending 2 years in prison, these are the YouTubers who couldn't handle their fame. Starting with James Charles, who had the biggest name in the beauty space, so big that he was endorsed by none other than the Kardashians, and followed by the likes of Kylie Jenner, Miley Cyrus, and even Shawn Mendes. Now imagine having this much fame, only to get caught preying on innocent people.
I fully understand my actions and how they are wrong.
In case you don't remember what happened, in February 2021, James Charles was facing some serious accusations, suggesting that he's been sending inappropriate messages and images to underage boys. Now, for obvious reasons, we're not allowed to show some of these, but basically, a TikTok user named Isaiah claimed that James had sent him some images of himself without wearing any clothes. And by looking at these images, there is no doubt that it is indeed James Charles. But what's even more insane is that this shocking little claim made people look a lot closer, which led to even more disturbing stories from others surface. Because by February 27th, there were more people coming out with similar stories about James, like one 17-year-old who showed messages where James kept flirting with him, even though he knew his age. Another user described how James allegedly kept using him for his own pleasure over Snapchat. On February 26th, James posted on Twitter to deny the accusations. The biggest takeaway from his response is that he didn't know that the person was 16, and this is where things got worse. As soon as these allegations started piling up one after the other, all the big name celebrities were now caught in a race on who can unfollow him first. In just a single day, he lost over 1 million subscribers, and all of his videos started to get shadow banned from the algorithm. It got so bad that even other files on the platform started making fun of him. As you can tell, James was constantly making things worse for himself, from deleting his apology video to begging people to uncancel him. This is not a good look if you ask me. Ultimately, James became the perfect example of what happens when you get to the top too fast. But if you think that's bad, Logan Paul takes it to a whole new level. So make sure you subscribe to Sphere because this is about to get interesting. Remember this moment right here? Around the time of this clip, Logan Paul was a massive success. He starred in the film Baymax alongside Zac Efron, Alexandra Daddario, and even became friends with The Rock. He was getting insanely popular with his vines. And fast forward to a trip in Japan, he was now the most hated YouTuber in the 21st century. But unlike James Charles, Logan actually managed to hold on to his fame, because his career did a complete 180 when he squashed the beef with KSI and invited him on the show, with that episode doing just over 19 million in total views. Then after their prime hydration deal together, many of their fans started respecting one another, claiming that it's much better to see them as friends rather than foes. But little did they know that, together, there'd be a much bigger disaster. Because after this interaction, Logan went on a highly consistent run of scamming his audience, whether it's through his promotions, or selling products that are dangerous to their health. What's even worse is that Logan and his team are getting sued by Lionel Messi, which is absolutely insane. From what we know, Messi launched his own hydration drink called Moss Plus. Logan and his team reached out to them and basically threatened them, saying, "Stop selling Moss Plus or we're taking you to court for copying our product." But to their surprise, Messi was not backing down without a fight. His distributor, Mark Anthony, has come out, and according to him, they checked carefully and no one is mistaking Moss Plus for Prime. They even hired some experts to run a survey, and unsurprisingly, no one thinks that the two drinks were alike. But just when you think things couldn't get any more intense with Logan, the FDA is now investigating his products, as they've received over a dozen complaints about Lunchly, where people are literally getting sick. As of right now, take away the 9-year-olds and Logan Paul's career is basically just people tuning in to hear his guest talk. But surprisingly, one of his guests has gone rogue and even became a more degenerate version of Logan. And it all started from this exact moment right here.
What's your name?
Jack Doherty.
Jack?
Jack Doherty.
At just the age of 15, Jack Doherty was already talking about buying a house in Tennessee, and clearly impressing a lot of people with his maturity, without them knowing that it would age horribly. However, since then, Jack has worked with Mr. Beast, Jake Paul, and at one time, he even had an interaction with Dr. Phil. It seemed like he was on track to becoming one of YouTube's future stars, but the reality was much worse. He went from making light-hearted videos to more dangerous, attention-seeking stunts that often blew up up in his own face. His content kept getting crazier, picking up fights on live streams, pulling reckless pranks that crossed legal lines, and it cost him big time. And just like his face, his career took a massive hit as all of his sponsorships dried up and the legal bills kept piling on. The kid who once looked like a safe bet was now too toxic for brands like Adidas and Nike, who cut ties after his public meltdowns. This is where he lost his mind. In March 2024, the internet exploded when he was caught forcing a kid to use a racial slur, for which the backlash was almost instant. And even though there was no doubt that this was staged, now people really want him gone for that. But what really shook everyone is what happened in October. If you don't know, during a live stream, Jack managed to crash his own car, leaving his cameraman dangerously hurt. What's crazier is that he barely seemed to care. It was all about his car and not his friend's life. As you can guess, the internet got seriously furious, asking how much worse this could get. But while Jack crashed his car, Leafy's the one who got absolutely wrecked as he built his fame around hatred, which ultimately made it worse. By mid-2016, he had over 4.9 million subscribers, with his channel getting over 1.2 billion views, becoming one of the biggest YouTubers ever. In 2015, when Leafy started targeting smaller creators, he didn't just critique their content, but he went after their appearances too.
Yep, that's right. We've all had enough of your shit, Mr. Potato Man. Let's get right into it.
This created a storm of controversy that would haunt him for years, because things took a sharp turn in mid-2016 when Ethan Klein fired back at Leafy.
Leafy made a video about a guy like he usually does, calling him a f***ing asshole, cringy, weirdo, you know, whatever, all the stuff he usually does. And it turns out that this guy is actually
After Leafy criticized Ethan hit him with another video that exposed Leafy's repetitive, lazy style of content.
What's going on? You're just picking on kids. What's cool about this?
This wasn't just a reply, it marked the beginning of Leafy's fall, because soon after this, his own fans started turning on him, siding with Ethan, and the cracks in his fame were starting to show. Then, in August 2016, iDubbbz tore apart his entire brand, calling out Leafy for being unoriginal, cruel, and even harmful.
He's taken on FouseyTube, Keemstar, the YouTube establishment. I mean, Leafy's a real hero.
That video sent Leafy's reputation crashing and people started unsubscribing in packs. But the spiral doesn't just stop there. He released a series of videos mocking Pokemon's looks and gaming abilities, and then by August 21st, 2020, his channel was gone, completely banned after repeated violations of harassment policies. So Leafy tried switching to Twitch, but it seemed like anywhere he went, the doors were slamming shut. While Leafy's done with his career, RiceGum is looking desperate to get his fame back, which brings him one failure after another. But this time, things have gone too far. If you didn't already know, RiceGum had become a pretty huge deal, so much so that his fame had set a target on his back. He once hit the Billboard Hot 100 with his song debuting at number 80, and by March 2018, it was already certified platinum. Not only that, but he was constantly making videos with KSI, which also made him huge in the UK. And just when it seemed like everything was going his way, things started to take a darker turn. In 2017, once again, iDubbbz came out swinging with a Content Cop episode that took RiceGum apart piece by piece.
He is extremely insecure, and he makes it very obvious when he uploads videos like this, where he details how much money he earns in a month on YouTube.
He even dropped a diss track calling him Asian Jake Paul, to which RiceGum made his own diss track, but it failed miserably. People hated it, but things got worse for RiceGum in 2018 when he posted a vlog from Hong Kong.
Sir, where can I find the mailman? The doggy? No? Sir, where can I find some dog?
The comments he made about the food and their culture were extremely embarrassing, and his apology only made it worse.
One, I was joking because it's like such a random question to ask like an elderly person, you know what I'm saying? And then two, in America, it's like slang, like in the hip hop and rap music.
What's even crazier is that just 1 year later, RiceGum promoted a website called Mystery Brand, which turned out to be $1 million scam. By June 2024, RiceGum had enough. He announced his retirement from streaming during a live stream, and while RiceGum failed to hold on to his fame, Young Philly is wishing he never touched it in the first place. Young Philly was on top with over over 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube and 3.2 million followers on TikTok. He and Chunks are some of the biggest names in the UK. Both of them were so popular that they casually hang out with Germany's Thomas Müller, to even starting a show with the Arsenal player Bukayo Saka. But just when things seemed bright, Philly's life took a dark turn.
Whilst I understand many of you want my reaction on it, as this is an ongoing court case, I hope you guys can understand that I can't and won't be commenting on it publicly.
In October 2024, young Philly was arrested in Australia for a shocking incident at a hotel following a performance. He faced some serious allegations: 4 counts of crossing the line with a girl, 3 counts of causing some serious harm, and 1 count of doing something really disturbing to one of his victims. People have already made up their minds, some suggesting that Western Australian detectives would not fly out literally across the country to arrest him if they didn't have a lot of evidence already. As of now, Philly might be stuck waiting for his trial for up to 2 years because of how serious this case is. What's worse is that the brands that once loved him are now running for the hills, with Warner Records hitting a pause on his music releases, and companies like Hanes and Gymshark have cut ties with him completely. Just like others, fame had brought Philly so many opportunities, but now it has destroyed him for good.